Hey there Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. Okay, so in a few other videos I talked about secondary progressions, solar arc directions and transits, and these are all timing tools within astrology. I will link these videos down below so that you can watch them if you haven't already. But in today's video we're going to be discussing annual profections. So looking at what they mean and how to read them. I do hope that you find this video to be helpful. I'm actually really looking forward to sharing this information with you. So on that note, let's do this. Okay, so firstly, what are annual profections? Well, the first thing to know is that annual profections were developed within the Hellenistic astrological system, and they focus on traditional time lords, which I will explain more about time lords in a moment. Now, each year you will experience a major area of focus depending on the house being activated, which, by the way, you must use the whole sign system for this timing technique, just to make that very clear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you which of your houses will be activated depending on your age. So as you can see here, when you are ages 1, 13, 25, 37, 49, 61, 73, and 85, your second house will be activated. Therefore, the second house will be a huge, major area of focus for you throughout that particular year. And another example here, when you are ages 6, 18, 30, 42, 54, 66, 78, your seventh house will be activated, meaning the seventh house will be a big, major area of focus for you throughout that year. Now, what's interesting to me about this timing technique, this timing tool, is how every single 22-year-old will experience an 11th house activation. Every 55-year-old will experience an 8th house activation. But of course, things are going to differ from person to person. And this is where the traditional time lords come in. So once you know which house is being activated, find the traditional ruler of the house in your personal birth chart. So this is going to be your time lord for that year. So on that note, to make things much more understandable, I'll insert the traditional time lords here somewhere so you can find yours in your chart. So if you have Scorpio in the 9th house and that house is being activated because you're 20 years old, well, you're going to look for Mars. Mars will be your time lord for that year. Or if you have Sagittarius in the 1st house and that house is being activated because you're 24 years old, you look for Jupiter. Jupiter will be your time lord for that year. I'm just going to use my own chart for some examples. So I have Libra ruling the 2nd house and I have Pisces ruling the 7th house. When I was 25, I went through a 2nd house annual profection, and the traditional ruler of Libra is Venus. And when searching for Venus in my chart, Venus is in Capricorn in the 5th house, and so therefore during my 25th year we are noticing a major focus on my resources, my finances, my self-worth. But with Venus being in Capricorn in my 5th house, my creative projects were starting to become a potential source of income for me that year. I also wasn't very lucky in the love department that year either, which challenged my self-worth, and my physical security was challenged too. And now, being 30, I'm experiencing a 7th house annual profection. And the traditional ruler of Pisces is Jupiter. And when searching for Jupiter in my chart, Jupiter is in Virgo in the 1st house, suggesting a major focus on relationships and how I essentially relate to others. I am only a couple of months in, but something I'm working through at the moment is how critical I can be of myself within my relationships. It's me being very critical of myself that can impact my relationships. So looking at how much I tend to worry and overthink. But at the same time, I'm learning a lot about what it means to be a companion, what it means to be a partner, what it means to come together with others, how to show empathy and compassion whilst not getting caught up in illusions or false hope. So this balance between being loving and sympathetic versus being rational with my head screwed on. Moreover, it's also good to consider the movements of your Time Lord throughout the year. So looking at which houses it will transit throughout the year for you. And also, of course, look at aspects. Again, make sure to check out the transit video for more information. But just to give an example, let's say you're 27 years old, and so you're experiencing a 4th house annual profection, and the sign of Aries is ruling your 4th house. This means Mars will be your Time Lord for that year. So what you'll do is you will follow the movement of Mars within your chart, and at the same time, you'll consider your natal placement of Mars. Now, interestingly, Mars will be spending a whopping 7 months in the sign of Gemini from August 2022 until March 2023, and it will be retrograde for some time as well. And so if you're experiencing an annual profection year where Mars is your Time Lord, well, that's going to be some experience, especially if you have Mars in Gemini natally. Basically, it's good to follow the movement of your Time Lord throughout the year as well. And it's also good to look at your solar return chart. Now, I did make a video about solar returns. I will link that down below as well. But yes, locate your Time Lord in your solar return chart too. Again, take my own chart as an example. My Time Lord for this year is Jupiter due to that 7th house activation, and Jupiter is in Pisces in the 5th house in my solar return chart. And the 5th house is the house of children, romance and fun, suggesting the expansion of a romantic relationship or feeling blessed and lucky in love, or dreams of having children or experiencing creative bliss. These are a few different possibilities, but I would also need to consider what aspects are being made to Jupiter. So looking at my solar return chart, what aspects are being made to Jupiter there? And like I said, I would need to follow my transit Jupiter. And Jupiter will transit my 8th and 7th houses this year. So an emphasis here on shared resources and partnership. Another thing to keep in mind is what planets will transit the house being activated for that year. So for instance, if you're 28 and you're experiencing a 5th house annual profection, look to see what planets will transit your 5th house throughout the year. Maybe you have Taurus ruling your 5th, and when Venus moves into Taurus on the 28th of May 2022, perhaps you reap the rewards of your art or your creations. But it's these things that strongly correlate with your 28th year. And if you have any personal planets in Taurus in the 5th house, well, they are only going to add more to the story. And so that is another thing to just keep in mind as well. Consider what personal planets you have in that particular house that is being activated for you throughout the year. Now, because the traditional Time Lords are being used, this means we aren't looking at Uranus, Neptune, or Pluto. I'm sure there are many debates within the astrological community about the use of these planets. But essentially, annual profections are another layer, okay? They're another pancake on the stack to keep in mind. They can go hand in hand with your transits and your solar returns, and they can also go hand in hand with your secondary progressions and your solar arc directions. So think of things like this. Your annual profections will show you an area of focus for the year. Transits will show you what's going on in your life currently, so this can be day by day, week by week, and so on. Solar returns will show you what to expect during your year ahead. Secondary progressions will show you how your personality evolves and changes. Solar arc directions will show you major moments in your life, so big events and just life changes. And your natal placements will show you your upbringing, your psychology, your overall personality, and your general life experiences, just really looking at your life path. And so these are all the different layers of you. Now, to finish off this video, I'm going to go through the houses. I'm going to keep things very brief because the location of your Time Lord will change things massively. And also considering those other things that I talked about today. Yeah, there's many things to take into consideration when it comes to timing in astrology. But I'll still go over each house quickly so you can understand which house will be activated for you based on your age. Okay, so if you are 0, 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, or 84, your first house is going to be activated. Therefore, a major area of focus for the year involves your identity, your physical appearance, your life path, your outlook on life, and your temperament. If you are 1, 13, 25, 37, 49, 61, 73, or 85, your second house is going to be activated. Therefore, a major area of focus for the year involves your finances, your physical security, your possessions, your talents, your self-worth, and your earning potential. If you are 2, 14, 26, 38, 50, 62, 74, or 86, your third house is going to be activated. And so a major area of focus for that year involves your siblings, your local area, your education, your communication, and your speech. If you are 3, 15, 27, 39, 51, 63, or 75, your fourth house is going to be activated. And so a major area of focus for that year involves your home, your family, your emotional security, your upbringing, and your sense of belonging. If you are 4, 16, 28, 40, 52, 64, or 76, your fifth house is going to be activated. Therefore, a major area of focus for that year involves your children, your creations, your hobbies, your leisure time, your celebrations, your self-expression, and your inner child. And also looking at your love life. If you are 5, 17, 29, 41, 53, 65, or 77, your sixth house is going to be activated. And so therefore a major area of focus for that year involves your work, your chores, your daily routines, your schedules, your health, your diet, your stress levels, and your time management, even just looking at your productivity levels. If you are 6, 18, 30, 42, 54, 66, or 78, your seventh house is going to be activated. Therefore, a major area of focus for that year involves your significant other, your relationships, your partnerships, your clients, your competitors, and your shadow side. Though if you are 7, 19, 31, 43, 55, 67, or 79, your 8th house is going to be activated. And so a major area of focus for that year involves your intimate relationships, any debt, your partner's money, your shared resources, your joint finances, your sexuality, your vulnerabilities, and your emotional issues. If you are 8, 20, 32, 44, 56, 68, or 80, your 9th house is going to be activated. And so a major area of focus for that year involves your beliefs, your philosophies, your truths about life, your further education, further training, your ethics, and long distance traveling. If you are 9, 21, 33, 45, 57, 69, or 81, your 10th house is going to be activated. And so a major area of focus for that year involves your life work, your reputation, your social status, your profession, your ambitions, your purpose, your accomplishments, and your public image / public presence. And if you are 10, 22, 34, 46, 58, 70, or 82, your 11th house is going to be activated. And so a major area of focus for that year involves your networks, your teams, your alliances, your friendships, your non-conforming ideas, your wishes, your hopes, your clubs, and your rebellion. And lastly, if you are 11, 23, 35, 47, 59, 71, or 83, your 12th house is going to be activated. And so a major area of focus for that year involves your spirituality, your renewal, your endings, your behind the scenes self, your psychic awareness, your solitude, how you spend time in solitude, and your dependencies, any dependencies you have or any addictions you may have. All right, so those are all the houses explained depending on your age. Though what I do just further want to mention is try to think of it practically. Try to think of what a 2-year-old may be experiencing, whenever they're going through a 3rd house annual profection, for example. Or try to think of a 4-year-old that is going through a 5th house annual profection, what they may be experiencing. Or even try to think of a 12-year-old as they are experiencing a 1st house annual profection. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes my video talking about annual profections. Now I do hope that this video made sense. I hope that you found it to be helpful and useful. Please let me know if you could follow along, or if you got something out of this video from this video. And also let us know which annual profection you are experiencing at the moment. I suppose it just depends on your age. And as always, let me know your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section down below as well. But with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And of course, if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then make sure that you click that subscribe button and also give this video a like if you did like it today. And I will be back with another video very, very soon. Bye!